Hello, everyone. This video is in follow-up to our Kubify training sessions that we had. This video hopefully will be helpful when you really start to create your ePoster and your mini poster. So those are two things that we want to talk about that we talked about in our training is the ePoster and then the mini poster. The mini poster is just that little bitty advertising page that we create with just bits of information about your research project. It generates interest about your research. So to get into the area where you can edit your ePoster and your mini poster, you'll want to click Edit. And once you get to that editing pane, you'll have under the stack settings, the general and the iStack summary. That's the area where you work on your mini poster. And over here on the left, in the iPhone area is where you work on your actual ePoster. The ePoster is created by these tiles that come from the tile library that are on the far left side. So we're going to start off talking about that mini poster. And the one thing that you'll want to do under this general tab is if the allow chat is on, make sure it is off. And then we're going to work on the mini poster, and that's done under this iStack summary area. So your stack title or research project name should already be pre-populated for you. If it is not, you can put it in there or you can change it. Just be aware that there's a maximum of 100 characters for this area. You can include more than that, but they just may not show up then on your mini poster, and you'll want to make sure that you can create a full title that shows up on the mini poster. The event or context will already be pre-populated for you as well. The author area is where you list your research team members along with their credentials. And under author affiliations is where you list your faculty mentor name or names and their credentials. The stack summary is where you include 2 to 3 sentences about your research project. And really, we aren't asking for a lot of information. There's a maximum character limit here of 350 characters. So 2 to 3 sentences is probably the max that you'll be able to include, at least in that first stack summary area. Then we want to select an image for your mini poster. So you hit that select image area. If you have a picture loaded into your computer that relates to your research, you can place it in this upload area. If not, you can go to image search and search the images that Kubify has provided for you. We're going to type in dentistry and see what comes up. There's lots of different pictures. We're going to choose a picture. We'll select that. You can see there's a viewing bar here. You can move it around and kind of get honed in on the area of the picture that you would like. And then you have a zoom bar, so you can zoom in and out as well. So we're going to move this picture over just a little bit, up, maybe a little smaller. And then we're going to click apply. And then you'll be able to see what that image is going to look like on your mini poster. If you don't like the way it looks, if you don't like the picture, you can obviously go in and adjust or remove the image. The next thing we're going to want to add is some tags. Tags are just like social media tags, only you don't have to put the hashtag there. So we're going to type in dentistry. We'll type in oral health. Oral health literacy, just because it came up. Our recommendation is that you include at least 3, probably no more than 6 just so that you have a solid line underneath that picture on your mini poster. Now there's some additional extra information here. You see this word optional. I'm going to type in here that heading only is optional. Information in this area is not optional. So you're going to want to type in some extra information here. It's another 2 or 3 sentences about your research project. It could include your PICO question. It could include research findings. Could include statistics. And it can also just be a continuation of the information that you provided above. This is not optional. Now, if you want to include a heading for this information, that is the optional part. If you want to term it as your PICO question or additional summary information, something like that, that heading information is optional, but you do need to include another 2 or 3 sentences about your research project in this area as well. Now, one thing that we talked about in our training sessions was saving the stack, and that's very important. If you see this green bar with the triangle and the exclamation point, it means that you have unsaved changes in your document. You want to make sure that you always save that stack so that you save the information that you've generated. Now we want to take a look at that mini poster. And to be able to do that, we hit the Generate Summary Poster. And it will create a PDF of that for us. And this is what our current mini poster looks like. Now, please note that you can go in and change your mini poster information, upload that PDF as many times as you want until you get it perfect, or at least how you want it. Also, this is the PDF that you will place in your Canvas assignment. And also, we are going to place this PDF in one of the tiles to help create your ePoster as we create your full ePoster. So that's information about creating the mini poster. Now, the next thing that we need to do is create your actual ePoster. And that ePoster is created from these 6 tiles that have already been pre-populated into this app phone for you. Now, one thing to note, these tiles are the mandatory tiles that coincide with your Canvas assignments. You can add as many tiles as you want if you want to include additional information, but these are the required tiles. There are 3 file tiles and there are 3 text tiles. Each work a little bit differently, and we're going to go through that. So the first thing we're going to look at is the mini poster tile. And the mini poster, PowerPoint, and video presentation are all file tiles, meaning all you have to do is drop a file into that tile and it's been created for you. So we're going to see how to do that with that mini poster. So we have to get to the editing area of each tile to make changes to it. So you're going to want to click on this corner gray area with the pencil in box to be able to edit these tiles. So I'm going to click into that mini poster area, and then I want to put that PDF into this mini poster tile. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to download that last mini poster I created, and we're going to put it in here and view it. And you can see how it's populated into that tile. It already shows the picture associated with the mini poster. It's actually the mini poster picture. One thing to be aware of these file tiles, you'll see this allow users to download files. Please make sure you shut that off on all of these so someone can't come in and download your information. Once again, we want to save that stack. So that's how we handle all of these file tiles. Now the difference will be when you get to this PowerPoint presentation or the video presentation in this layout area. Oh, it won't show it unless I have it. Let's put it on the mini poster. If you want to change the image, you can do it by set image here. So you can change the picture. I would not suggest doing it for the mini poster because that image that it creates is your actual mini poster. But for your PowerPoint or your video presentation, you may want to change those images. So now we're going to take a look at the text tiles. And those are the researcher team's bio, the manuscript, and the abstract. We're just going to work with the researchers team's bios to give you an idea of how that works. Once again, we need to get into the editing area. So we click in this gray area in the corner. And now we're in that researchers team's bio area. And like we said before, all of these say see Canvas for due date. So one thing that we recommend, and I'm going to type it in this tile so that you can see it, is that you create this information in Word and copy and paste here into the document. And that is really just so you have a backup for your information. If for some reason this stack doesn't get saved, then you will lose that information if you've typed it directly into this content box. So we're going to save stack. Now, another thing that we're going to show you about all of these tiles is that they all have a layout tab. And if you go out to the layout tab, this is where you add personalization to your ePosters and the tiles themselves. So you have a normal view. You can do a double view of any of your tiles. You can also do a double down. It makes your ePoster more interesting when you have some of these different. I have had some students go through and let's go back here. And they will do them all double. And so it kind of makes an interesting view for everything. But it's however that you want to create your ePoster to make all of this work. So I want to go back. Let's do all of these back in their regular layout. And we'll go back to this researchers team that we're working on. Another thing that you can do is you can change the color of the heading. And so you do that just by using this bar. And then for all of your tiles, you are going to want to set an image. Now, for the majority of those, you'll use the pictures that are provided through Kubify, although you can use your own pictures if you want. For the researcher team bio, we recommend that you use a picture of your actual team. And so you'll want to have that loaded into your computer so you can place it in the set image area. Another thing, let's look at this abstract area. We'll look at how to set an image here just to take a look. We'll do that image search. We'll look up book for a picture. Let's just use this. Once again, we can move and drag this around. I like the looks of those orange books. So we're going to select that and say apply. And you're going to see how that image appears in that tile. So you'll want to make sure that it looks good in the tile, depending on what type of layout you've decided to use. Once again, we're going to save that stack so that we have all of our information saved. Now, if you would want to add additional tiles, we've talked about the text content tile and the file tile. If you want to add another one of these or any of these, you just drag and drop them over into the cell phone area again. So we're going to delete that because we aren't going to add another text tile for right now. But there are a couple other tiles over here that you might be interested in. One is the online content tile, and we're going to drag and drop it. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to link or showcase a website, you just place the link here, enter add, and then when anyone clicks on this online content tile in your ePoster, they will be taken to that website. So that's what the online content tile does. We'll delete that. Another one is the collection tile. We'll drag and drop the collection tile over. It would be used if you had a multiple grouping of items that you wanted to place together and not put in separate tiles. So let's say someone had 3 different surveys that they gave out. Maybe it was pre, post, and then, a follow-up questionnaire or something like that. You would have 3 surveys. So you'd select choose, and you would name that collection. So in this case, the name would be surveys. And then we'll click the green bar. And once again, we don't want anyone to download your files, so we'll click that off. And then at this point, you could add multiple links, multiple files, or any variation of, depending on if your survey was a link or a file. And so that's how you would add multiples of a collection into one tile. So we're going to delete that. And then there's one more tile that we want to talk about, and that's the app link. And we're going to drag and drop it over. And if you have an app that you would like to showcase that relates to your research, all you would have to do is click here and scroll down and choose that app. However, in our case, probably any app that you would want to use would be very specific to dentistry and probably not already loaded into the Kubify apps to choose from. What you would do in that case is you would get a hold of research support. We would contact Kubify and see if they could add that to the drop-down list that they have. So we're going to delete that out of there. Save our stack, just because we always want to make sure we do that. We're going to take a look at this preview button. So if you want to take a look and see what your ePoster looks like, if someone was viewing it on a laptop or a desktop, this is what you would see. You could also go in and click on your mini poster, and you could see what it looks like in full size as well. That would be the same with the rest of these. If you had information in your abstract or your research or bios team, you could actually click and see the full information. Now, when I click on abstract, there won't be anything in there because we haven't put any information in there. But like your mini poster, you can see what it would look like. So now we're going to go back to our editing area. So we just close the viewer. Make sure that you always save your stack. And then when you do get back into Kubify through your home button or log in again, you'll see this home stacks and create stack that we're looking at here. One thing to remember is you do not create stack again. You just go to your stacks and your ePoster will appear and you can click on it and get back into the editing area. Once again, if you don't see the editor here, you can click close editor and say edit. But always when you're in this area, you should be able to edit either this general or iStack summary for the mini poster and then into the cell phone with these individual tiles for your ePoster. So I hope that is helpful. If you need to reach out to either Steve Webb or I, you can certainly do so. I'm at lnorman@atsu.edu, and Steve is at swebb, W-E-B-B, at atsu.edu. We look forward to hearing from you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.